What's up everyone, back for another beer review, and today I will be reviewing yet another beer from the Other Half Brewing Company, and they're out of both Brooklyn and Rochester, New York, and this is their Chocolate Cherry Crunchee. Yeah. So they are calling this an Imperial Chocolate Cherry Granola Berliner Weisse that is brewed with, wait for it, toasted coconut, vanilla, maple syrup, cinnamon, almonds, and milk sugar. Comes in at 7.4% alcohol by volume. No IBUs listed in the time of review. This can is approximately 6 weeks old. And I want to give a huge, absolutely huge shout out and thanks to a good friend of mine, Sean, for hooking me up with this one. He actually went to the release of this beer and I was really bummed I was going to miss it. And then he was like, yeah, I'm going to it. And he hooked me up with a can. So thank you very much, Sean. I really, really want to try this one out. And that's because I had the Raspberry Crunchee and it was one of the best beers I had in all of 2019 to date. And it was kind of mind blowing how good that beer was. Just absolutely fantastic. So a chocolate cherry version of this beer should be amazing. So they don't mention that they're brewing this one with cherries and cocoa nibs or cacao nibs because it's implied in the name, Imperial Chocolate Cherry Granola Berliner Weisse. So yeah, Berliner Weisse with all these adjuncts. I don't know. If this beer is not at the very least just super tasty, I'm going to be surprised. That Raspberry Crunchee just kind of blew my mind. I know they did a Blueberry Crunchee that I missed out on, which I was very disappointed that I didn't, get a chance to grab that one. So my goal is any Crunchee they release, I'm on top of it. I want to grab it. So here we go. Give it a pour. Yeah, that looks like something that would have cherries in it, does it not? So yeah, it's just, I'm so, like, this is one of the most pumped reviews that I've had in a long time. I hope this is amazing. So on camera, this is going to look dark, and in person, guess what? That is super dark. This is like almost purplist. Man, words. I'm struggling so much lately with words, but this is purple-esque. It's like a dark purple, yeah, like a really deep magenta. Just it looks really dark. Has about a finger of a straight-on light purple, like kind of pinkish head. It looked somewhat fluffy. A little bit of soap suzziness going on, but yeah, that looks awesome. Let's get a nose. So I'll say right from the get-go, doesn't smell as good as the Raspberry Crunchee. It does not. That one just smelled like actual raspberry granola, like with the maple syrup, the coconut, the whole nine. The nose on this one, definitely chocolate. Yeah, as I got back in there, this smells like cherry cordials. So, if you're in the US, I forgot what they're called in Canada, maybe cherry blossoms. But, cherry cordials, the chocolate-covered maraschino, I think it's maraschino cherries. Yeah, with like the cream in there, that's exactly what this smells like. A little bit of that almond, like nuttiness. I wouldn't necessarily say almonds, but there's a little bit of nuttiness there. Not really getting the maple syrup or the coconut, though, in the nose. I guess that nougat or the whatever the cream is in the cherry cordial could be from the vanilla and lactose in here, because it definitely getting like a vanilla vibe. What I can tell you is this doesn't have any like tartness to the nose. It doesn't smell like a sour, and that's the thing about the Raspberry Crunchee. I like almost forgot to even mention in the review that it was a Berliner Weisse, and that's kind of what I'm getting here. This just smells like a pastry beer, not a stout obviously, but just like a pastry beer. Yeah, it smells pretty damn good. A little bit underwhelming, to be honest with you. I'm always honest, a little underwhelming, but it does smell pretty good. So let's get into it. Cheers, everybody, and thanks again, Sean. Fucking delicious. My buddy Dan on Tapped, he watches the reviews. Violent by Design, I believe is his name. He said, I should have a shirt that just says, from the Beer Patrol, it's fucking delicious. I don't know. Would you guys buy them? I don't know if I would. But yeah, that's kind of my catchphrase when everything, not even on purpose. That's just kind of what I say when a beer is delicious. It's fucking delicious. And this is fucking delicious. Right from the get-go, I can tell you, though, this isn't as good as the raspberry one for me personally. But I will say, the cacao nibs in here, definitely present. There is a nice, sweeter, dark chocolate note to this beer. Let's get the body and mouthfeel out of the way. Body, 7.4%. This is lower side of medium to medium body. It's fine. It's appropriate. The mouthfeel on it, from the lactose and all these adjuncts and stuff, it has a nice, soft, smooth creaminess to it. But it does have more carbonation than you would think, just because this is a Berliner Weisse and you want a little bit of spritzy, effervescent kind of feeling on the palate. So it doesn't drink like a New England style IPA from them, but the nice, soft, smooth, creamy characters coming from the lactose, I believe. But it has like a proper mouthfeel from a Berliner Weisse standpoint. So body and mouthfeel are very nice. But the taste on here, chocolate is omnipresent. That is the 100% distinct characteristic to this beer. Is like, okay, I get chocolate. Cherry's number 2. The cherry cordial carries over. It's not as big as it was in the nose, that specific character, but it's here. You're getting the dark sweet chocolate, the cherry, the vanilla. That's all here. I am getting a little touch of cinnamon on the finish of this one, but I'm not really picking up toasted coconut, and there's only a hint of maple syrup. And the only reason I can like pick out the maple syrup is that because it's on the label. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to tell you if I was doing this blind there's maple syrup or toasted coconut here. It does finish sweet. This is a sweet beer. There's a ever so slight tartness on the palate, but not really. Again, doing this blind, I wouldn't tell you this is a fruited Berliner Weisse or an adjunct Berliner Weisse. I would just guess like this is a fruit beer of some sort, maybe like a generic American wheat ale base or something. Because it finishes sweet. It's not cloying, but I think I'd be one and done with this beer because I think there's too much. This sounds really dumb, but I think there's too much flavor here. I think there's too much going on. That I think after one can, 16 ounces of this, I'd be just like, time out. Like, let me move on to something a bit simpler or not as like in your face and intense. That said, this is a fucking delicious beer. How many times can I say that? As many times as I want, I guess. I don't know. But it is super tasty. So rating on the chocolate cherry, is it chocolate cherry crunchy? Chocolate Cherry Crunchee. Yeah, I remember. It's whatever. Not really that hard to remember that. Rating on that. Chocolate Cherry Crunchee from Other Half. 7.4% alcohol by volume. That's another thing I forgot to mention. Not really getting any alcohol in here. This drink's like a 5-6% beer. If I was doing this blind, there's no way I would guess over 6%, just based on everything that I'm tasting. But rating, I'm going to give this a straight on 4.5 out of 5. I don't remember what I gave the Raspberry Crunchee. It was definitely like a high 4.75. It might have been a 5 out of 5. I don't know. I remember that being delicious. That one worked better for me because it just, I don't know. It just, I got more of the granola. In here, I'm getting the granola. So, they're brewing this with granola, I'd imagine. And I'm getting that. And that's not lost. Even though I didn't mention it until now, there is granola. And I guess just kind of because you expect it because it's called chocolate cherry crunchy and there's granola on the label and stuff, you would say, okay, whatever. It's got to be in there. And it is. But I just feel like the raspberry one was a little bit more just impactful, for lack of a better word. It was just it resonated with me more. And it's funny that I'm saying this about this specific beer that I gave a 4.5 out of 5, but comparing it to the Raspberry Crunchee, this is a bit of a disappointment, but overall, it's so good. So if you've had this one before, let me know what you think about it because, yeah, I'm thoroughly enjoying it. I'm going to drink the rest of that can and love every second of it. Price and availability, price point, $22 a 4-pack at the brewery, so $5.50 a can. That's a bit pricey, but taking consideration, this is 7.4%, has like 7,000 different adjuncts in it, so, it's probably expensive to make it with all those different adjuncts and fruits and stuff, so $5.50 a can, no problem trying this one. I'd be willing to pay that all the time. $22 4-pack. I would grab a 4-pack just to try it, hook up some friends, share it with people. And availability, brewery only at Other Half unless you have a place close to you like a bottle shop or a distributor that can grab some Other Half. Then you might be able to get your hands on some without going to the brewery, but for the most part, very limited. And yeah, just really good beer. Yeah, just, listen, I'm going to go drink the rest of this and enjoy every second of it, but still in my mind, it's a bit of a disappointment compared to the raspberry, and I guess that'll be always like the baseline I compare all the crunchies to, but I still really appreciate getting a chance to try it, so thanks once again to Sean for hooking me up with this one, and thanks to everybody for stopping by. Another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. Till the next one. Cheers.